Sweet. So what was your question, Dashi?
I would like sort of some type of stretch or mobilization for my IT band. I notice after a lot of twisting and turning, playing Ultimate and then coming in here, it's tight, it's sore, it's painful.
Oh.
What can I do?
So this is fairly common with people who like to dabble in some field sports, and really anybody in training who has a little something to do with their body. And for those of you who don't know, she's talking about all of this stuff right here, right? Everything on that side. And I'll give you some simple things without getting too complicated as to, oh no, we shouldn't be smashing around in here, there's a nerve and we're gonna really screw things up. But more of just a thought process is where you might want to go before, of course, maybe talking to someone who's a professional can give you a more direct answer in terms of looking at you as an individual. And that might be from maybe the foam rolling standpoint. I would get you to think about not hitting that area that is your main sensory focus, but try to hit the areas around there to see how you feel. Now, a lot of this lateral knee and IT band stuff can often creep up in this little junction here, this little soft, gooey part of that hip that often feels a little bit wound up. But this little soft spot, if you think about with your lacrosse ball or whatever your tool is, you could use a rolling pin or the head of a pen. I want you to think about digging in there as far as massage related stuff goes. And maybe working the top slight outer part of your quad and the back slight outer part of your hamstring. And look about how we're not hitting directly on where you feel the issue, but we're going a little bit north, a little bit east and west, and maybe a little bit south from there, just so that you can think about, well, maybe something's all crazy here and it's just telling you what's going on out here by signaling what's going on here. So some things are just pulling left, right, and center and are going to piss other people off, so to speak. Other than that, I wouldn't really think about trying to stretch any of this out. It's probably telling you that there's something going on, and if you just start stretching away at it, you may not actually make it feel better. It might feel better in the moment, but you might release some stability or actually aggravate an issue. So I would get back to some of your basic hip mobility or hip stretch positions if you want to stretch, but working the articulations of the hip and the knee joint, which are right around those areas. So rotating through the knees, we've talked about controlled articular rotations and some FRC principles. Same idea with the hip here. And then from there, maybe working some of that 90-90 position to work through some of these corners of the hip. And again, we're kind of not so much avoiding, but treating everywhere else to see if this just gives a little bit. And then if nothing changes, that's when you can go holler at somebody else who's going to be able to really dig in there with their hands and see what's going on. So give that a thought.